happening, YouTubers? Thanks for checking out this video. So Carlos, the main man from retrosumus, has been in contact with me yet again to send me their latest build of the up and coming Dreamcast release titled Xenocider. Now I'm really looking forward to this title because the communication from this company has been absolutely awesome. Now I did do a video coverage of their very first beta form, and if you want to learn a bit more about the company, I'll just send a link up there for you guys. In this video we're going to be dwelling into the latest build and the updates that they brought to us and what you could finally expect with their final release. Now let's jump in here. The first thing I noticed, there's definitely an improvement with the colours and the clarity. Icons and details are now popping out, which is what we need. My VGA to HDMI adapter doesn't really do the video justice, as it does like to stretch the image just slightly, creating a bit more of a blur effect. It looks slightly more vivid, giving that better and all around depth of visualization. The controls are slightly improved, not that it needed much anyway, and the aiming cursor animates now when the enemy is highlighted. This may be subtle, but it does help tracking where the actual aiming cursor is, as I did struggle with that with the early build. Playing this version, it is now more enjoyable to play. The strongest part that I found, it is slightly more easier than of the previous build, as I'm finding more health drops throughout the levels. I have mentioned again that this soundtrack is just awesome. Playing for this version of the game, I found I played through the entirety of the game. When you get towards the end, it does pick up difficulty, but if you do struggle on any of the levels, you can always try alternative routes. I won't be giving too much away because I don't want to spoil this release for you guys, but I have to mention my favourite level, which is Sora's Realm. It has a great use of colours and style, and of course the music. The last boss though I did find quite tricky, but after a fair few attempts I managed to take him down. The game isn't that too long, but there's what you expect from this arcade style of shoot-ups. It does hold some replay value though, with some great alternative routes, different selective modes, mini games, and also trying to bump up your high score to get those achievements, well, / trophies, which is a great new feature to this build. A new mode that is available to us in this build is Simulation Mode, a minigame that holds credit to the classic Space Invaders. A short and simple, but still quite addictive within itself. If you're skillful enough and once you've completed the game, you also have access to Manic Mode, but I don't want to spoil things even further with this. Now this game is actually being built from the ground up, much like the good old days in the 80s and the 90s. I have to say, I have to give some serious credit to retrosumus, and being the first 3D independent title to be released to the Dreamcast since its cancellation. The game now, with this release, I can say is a lot more enjoyable, and this time around, most importantly, is playable. There are still some couple of minor things I'd just like to quickly point out, just a couple of little ones. On the option selecting screen on the main menu, it just seems to just be a little bit laggy than when you selected anything else on the game. When selecting your power up prior to entering the level, it would be nicer just for a clear layout, and the aim cursor has improved, but I still seem to lose where it is on the screen, especially when it's in a busy type of area on the level. Perhaps an alternative camera placement where you can select may help you a bit better, trying to struggle where the actual cursor is and the enemy. Something more personal interest is the use of widescreen mode. There's not many out there for the Dreamcast for this console itself, but if we finally get a 3D remake, it would be nice to see if we can actually have the widescreen mode as an option. Also, I'm not too sure as I haven't really looked into this, but perhaps a code generator where your high score can be then placed up onto a dedicated website so you can show off to your friends of your latest high score to this game. Now it is mentioned that this game will support the twin stick controller, but unfortunately this is something I don't have access to, but I can totally tell this will be a big game changer with this peripheral. As the release date is coming up, the most recent touch-up has been awesome, I must say. Now I find the game more playable. It's better refined balance of difficulty, visually more vivid, further replayability. I do advise trying alternative routes and finding out which supported weapons suits you how to play better. Now its final release is looking even more tasty. Now I do go and rave about the music on this game, but I do think Juno Martin has done a really tidy job with this game release, also including Abel Chu and Carlos, the main force behind retrosumus. Now I've had a couple of comments in my previous video regarding the graphics of the game, but I can confirm it does hold a nice steady 60 frames per second with a couple of dips here and there, and I think that's a great achievement, especially when they've actually created their own game engine themselves and brought out the game on their own. I am looking forward to future projects from retrosumus, and I do hope for the best for their game release, and hopefully if I'm lucky enough I'll be able to cover their final release game and perhaps pick up a physical copy myself. Now this year has actually proved pretty great for the Dreamcast, as there's a fair few titles I love to cover, and if you actually know anyone that can contact me, and I'd love to do a video regarding the future Dreamcast release. Now this is a bit of a beginning YouTube channel, and if you like to like this video or subscribe, they'll actually go a million miles. So again, if you like this, hit that button if you want help and support, click subscribe, leave your comments below, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.